Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So in front of us is the 2022 Toyota GR86 Premium, finished off in true no blue. They have a starting MSRP right around $27,000. So this is a very affordable and fun sports car. We're gonna start off today's review with what powers this. So underneath the hood is the 2.4 liter 4-cylinder boxer engine. This model's paired with the 6-speed automatic transmission. However, you can get the 6-speed manual. It pumps out 228 horsepower, 185 pound-feet of torque. It's rear-wheel drive, weighs in right around 2,800 pounds, so it is not a big sports car. It'll do 0 to 60 around 6 seconds. Top speed is 140 miles an hour. And it runs off a 13.2 gallon fuel tank. You'll expect to see around 18 miles per gallon in the city, 22 out on the highway. It is a very economical and fun sports car. But let's move on to the exterior styling now, where this has a pretty large lower grille, plenty of cutouts to provide cooling to that engine. There's even functional air inlets in the far corners that actually exit in front of the tire, and then there's another trim piece just behind the tire that we'll come back to. There's very nice lines in the lower section too, and I love the bubble design on each side that flows off of the headlight housing. So this has DRLs in the lower section with the headlights, high beams, and turn signals on the middle, and then it goes pretty much all the way to the base of the mirrors there, or the base of the hood on each side. I think it gives it a really cool, sporty, and aggressive design for this smaller size car. Definitely makes it very proportional too. Now for the side, this has a set of 18-inch wheels, finish off in a dark gunmetal, multi-spoke. 2 piston calipers are just behind that. It's a nice blend with this exterior blue. And then we can get another look at this functional trim piece just behind that tire. So while this isn't a performance-oriented, in a sense, sports car, it's definitely very functional and fun to drive. Now the side mirrors are finished off in gloss black, and I love the lines that go off of that trim piece, especially for the lower side skirt. It actually protrudes slightly away from the door. There's also another line just above it, so I think it has a great design to it overall. I love all the contoured lines and all the shaping. Now this model also has an aftermarket spoiler, and to be honest, it looks like it could come this way from the factory. I think it's a nice subtle touch. This has LED taillights, and what I love with the dark housing, that strip actually makes its way through the middle of the trunk, so it ties them in very nicely. Now this has a backup camera along with the parking sensors, dual exhaust. The reverse light is in the lower section along with some plastic in that diffuser. But it has a great exterior design. Let's work our way to the interior now. So we'll start off with the cargo space. You can use this button right in the middle. I think that is a must for sports cars. And for the rear here, really not the biggest. You can fit some items in here. The back seats do fold down as well, so you can fit in some larger items if you need to. And then there is additional storage space up underneath the floor. You could maybe put a spare tire in here if you really wanted to, but you can throw some items back here so they won't roll around. So honestly, if you're buying this car, this is what you would really expect, but it does have a good amount of space. So that is nice to see. And then for the premium, you get some very nice materials on the inside, like the micro suede and all of the leather, along with the stitching. There's all of the window controls, side mirror adjustments, probably one of the smallest cup holder and storage bins I've seen, but it's there if you need to use it. And then you get more of that leather and Alcantara or micro suede for these seats. Good bolstering support. This is a really nice sport bucket seat for this sports car. And then we can also take a look at the back seats. Now these are manual adjusting seats, so I do have to move that out of the way. And at 5'10", I really wouldn't want to be back here hardly ever, as you can tell with that seat all the way back. But they're there. If you have to use them in a pinch around the city, you have that exterior room, or you have that exterior interior room as well, or for extra storage if you need it. But we get the same micro suede. So it's nice if you are much smaller than me, or you just need to be back there for a little bit. So now we can slide this seat all the way back, and it's interesting how far you actually step down over this door sill in order to enter this vehicle, but it's really easy to do. Full leather on the steering wheel with the GR badge. This also has cruise control. But let's fire up this 86 now. GR is on the engine start stop button. I think that is a cool touch to see. Now this isn't a loud vehicle, so if I give it some gas, it's kind of what you'd expect for a 4-cylinder. Now on the gauge cluster, you can see miles per hour in the tach right in the middle. On that right side is engine temperature along with fuel gauge. And then on the left side, you can go through a lot more info using these buttons right here. So if I scroll over, you can go through some of the tech features that are available for this under the driver assistant, so you can monitor all of that. You can look at a few more settings here. There's also messages. You can pull up some other vitals along with your averages, so you can take a look at those, even TPMS to look at. And then we have a lap timer too. You can scroll up and look at a diagram here for the power that you're using. You can also look at your braking, your acceleration, and your G-force meter. Pretty cool to have those for this. There's your radio, and then we're back to the cruise there. This also has steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, which have more of that dark finish, just like the wheels. And then volume and tuning and Bluetooth controls are on that left side. Now this is a very small steering wheel, but it is very fun and easy to use. We actually drove a GR86 on the tail of the Dragon. So if you'd like to see those videos, I'll have that link down below. Definitely a good size for taking all of those twisty roads. Now on this left side, you can release the trunk. There's a dimmer switch for the gauges. And then right in the middle, 2 air vents, and we have this touchscreen system, not really all that configurable. This is pretty much all you get, all these icons that you can see. There's shortcuts to phone and apps. You do have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto though, so you can hook up your phone and use your phone on the system, which is nice. Power and volume for the radio, tuning, and some other radio adjustments are on that right side. And then underneath that are all the climate adjustments. This does have dual zone, fan speed is right in the middle, and then underneath that there's a row of toggles for more of the climates. So you have your modes where you'd like the air to go, you can sync it, you have some recircs, even the heated side mirrors as well. It would be cool to see some other driving modes here instead of all of the AC controls, but it is a nice layout and easy to use. Now for the automatic, putting it into reverse, you'll see that backup camera up here, and then all the way down is drive. We can pop it over into the manual setting, so you can shift using those paddles. And behind that we have the manual parking brake. There's also traction control and a few different driving modes. So this does have a snow mode, it also has a sport mode, and then you can actually change the tack when you go into track mode. So you'll see that adjust as needed. Pretty cool to see that. This also has heated seats, a little bit of storage space, and then the cup holders are actually in the center armrest. You have some auxiliaries, so you can use those as needed, and you can actually close this just by pushing on one side. Pretty cool to see that. There's additional storage in the glove box, so it's pretty roomy on the inside for being the size that it is. It doesn't feel too claustrophobic, which is nice. And then visibility, it's very easy to see in all directions. Up top, you also have the dome lights, and then the rear view mirrors right in the middle. And from first gear, you know, it's not super slow that it's not fun, but it's also not crazy fast like I mentioned earlier. Kind of in the middle. It'll get up and move. If you're trying to merge, we have the lane keeping assist there. If you're trying to merge in traffic, you know, get up to speed, it can do it. I don't feel like it's quite as underpowered as maybe some people think it is. So you do have an adequate amount of power. I do wish it was a little bit more, however, but for what it is out of the gate, it's really not all that bad. And as far as turning radius goes with a quick UE, definitely a small car, so it's very maneuverable-ish. There we go. Very easy to see as well. And again, that's just a mild acceleration, and we're getting up. Brakes do a good job too. It doesn't weigh all that much either. So you would expect, you know, you don't need massive brakes either, which is another thing too. If you're looking for a sports car and you don't want something that, you know, might be unreliable or might be expensive to maintain, we're talking about a $30,000 car. Usually, depending on the brand, you know, Toyota is very reliable. This really shouldn't cost you that much to not only own, but also maintain, as far as oil changes, you know, tires, things like that. Very skinny tires, so they're not going to cost as much as some other brands that have, you know, pretty wide and grippy tires. So if you're looking for that fun factor, that reliable factor, that easy to maintain factor, the GR86 pretty much hits all of those points. It's a good all-around vehicle at that affordable price point that you can still rip on and have fun. You know, you add an exhaust to this, it's gonna liven it up a little bit. Obviously not add any power, but anytime you add an exhaust, it just makes the driving a little bit more enjoyable, I think, than hearing no exhaust. So if you're looking for something like that, definitely a good option. Now I will say I would go with the manual. I haven't been in the manual. My brother got to drive a manual GR86. So if you want to see that video, check out that review that he uploaded. I would definitely opt for the manual. If you're not a three pedal kind of person, this is a good option. But for the car, manual definitely gives you a lot more of a fun factor in my opinion, especially ripping it through the mountains. Let's give it one last mild acceleration for today's video from third. And that is going to wrap it up for the all-new GR86. Once again, huge shout out to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this fun little sports car for me today. Check out their website, that link is down below. Also give the video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.